Hello there, everyone. I am Melissa Wilson from Fox 26. I'm a morning news anchor, also a medical reporter, and I'm actually in a working newsroom right now. So if you see anything, crazy going on behind me, maybe we'll have breaking news. But hopefully, we're going to hope for a quiet time right now because I have someone really special to introduce you to. And in just a few weeks, as we heading into February, it is going to be Burn Awareness Month, Fire Safety Awareness Month, talking about how to protect you and your family. And nobody knows how to do that more than my darling friend, Justina Page. I want to introduce you to her right now. Hi, Justina. Welcome to Lunch for the Soul.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here, Melissa.
You are such a bright light in our community. You've been through a whole lot and you just keep fighting and you're such a positive soul, and I think each and every one of us can learn so much from you. Let's start back of what happened all those years ago, 1999. What went down?
Well, unfortunately for myself, my husband, and our six sons, we experienced a horrific four alarm house fire that resulted in the death of one of our 22-month twin sons, severely injuring myself and the other twin, all of my four other sons being burned, as well as my husband, and us losing everything. It was it was life altering, to say the least.
Yeah, anybody who even thinks about a house fire thinks about how scary that can be, but then it was just the worst imaginable for you. You got trapped in your home and you were in critical condition, woke up 6 weeks later in the hospital, not only to find out, as you mentioned, you had lost everything, but also a precious child. I want to talk about how you got through that because I don't think many of us can even fathom that. I want to first of all show everybody your beautiful family here, and we can see the twins on the front row. How are you? How did you get through it all?
Well, I tell you what, I had to go through the whole process of grief. I didn't skip over to a hallelujah, Melissa. I
Okay.
had to go through the pain, the hurt, and then the realization that God was still good. And He was the one person, the one being that could help me get through it. And that He did.
Well, it's so much, I think, for anybody to go through physical pain, but then when you're talking about the mental pain of losing a child, it's just so much because it took almost a couple years for you to recover from those horrific burns that you
Yes.
suffered. How did you go through that simultaneously?
Well, I tell you what, God's word is really real and it works. And if we yield ourselves to Him, He has a way of teaching us principles that make things happen. One of the most valuable lessons I learned, and I love to share because I still use it even right now, is when I was in a car just having almost like a mental breakdown when I saw some of the ladies bringing their younger children's who were like 2 years old, and that was about the age of my twin when he passed. And I just lost it. I'm like, God, why my child and why not their child? Why did you take my child? And the Lord taught me a principle. And He spoke to me and told me, this is not about you. And I mean, I went from hysterical crying to hysterical laughter. And I'm like, God, if it's not about me, it involved quite a bit of me. Could you please explain? But I tell you what He did. He told me, He said, look, I don't revolve around your will. You revolve around mine. And I make all things work together for good. Everything, even this devastating fire, is going to work together for good because you're called according to my purpose and you love me. And He gave me a principle. He told me, instead of asking why, ask what now, so that I can get somewhere. Because even if He told me why, it wasn't going to change one thing. So I would learn to trust God's character and intention for my life, despite the circumstance.
And I think it's incredible that you were able to take time to stop and not only listen, but to receive that into your life and realize that something bigger was going to come out of your pain, which is huge. And that's when you learned to turn your pain into purpose and to help other
Yes.
people. How did that journey start off of you creating an unbelievable foundation in your son's name?
Well, it's really interesting because I did not set out to do that, Melissa. God knows our personalities. He knows us intimately. So he knew the setting I would be in and what I would do with it. My motivation was to be there for the one person who didn't have anyone on the unit. So I just went to the unit as a volunteer. I went through orientation. I was going to be there because I personally saw people pass due to the lack of hope. And I wanted to be a symbol of hope. And oddly enough, on the wall at the hospital now is a picture of me, and they call me the Hope Angel. But that's
Oh,
all I wanted to do. But while I was there, I saw all these different needs that the patients had, that the caregivers had. And I'm like, why isn't anyone doing something for these people? And
mhm.
then the spirit tapped me on my shoulder and said, well, what are you doing? And I'm like, wow, I'm just complaining like everyone else. And that birthed the Amos House of Faith to address the issues that I saw uh, that this particular population of people need. No one likes to think about burns, first of all. No one wants to see the scars, the amputations, the pain, the death. All of that is something that we like to turn a blind eye away from. And I
Mhm.
understand that, but still, these people need hope. They need help. They need encouragement. And that's what our goal is with the Amos House of Faith.
It's remarkable that you're able to do that. And I think a lot of times you can be in support groups or you can get a pat on the back from somebody who doesn't understand, and it's not as meaningful when somebody may have been through worse than even you being that you not only lost everything, but you suffered burns yourself, you lost a child. I mean, it's so much that I feel like that help is so meaningful to people. Is that how they receive it? That if they can see you went through that and you're thriving and you're helping others, that they will be okay.
It is exactly that, Melissa. When I go up to the unit, and first of all, I don't look like what I've been through. Praise the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they have no idea that I've had this experience. So I get a chance to let them, because I'm there to give an ear, to listen, to see where the deepest pain is, to see where I can be of the most encouragement. And then when I began to share my story, God made sure I was initiated in all levels. Now, let me clear that up. When I say God made sure I was initiated, God does not, he told me this too. He does not start fires. He does not kill children. But what he will do is allow Satan, like he did with Job, think he have a run. But he knew what was in my heart and he knew what I would do with it. So that being said, when I begin to talk about the loss of a child, taking care of a child who was burned, taking care of children that were siblings, being the burn survivor, I was touched in all areas. So it's hard for me to miss anyone on that unit.
Mhm. Well, it is about to get to be a real busy month for you as we head into Fire Safety Month, because not only are you helping burn victims and just giving them, the love and the support and the understanding they need, you're also trying to wake us all up about really important things, and some of them simple that we can do to protect our families. What is some of your best advice for us as we head into this awareness month of what you want us to be aware about?
All right, let's start with the basics. Have a plan and practice the plan. A lot
Hmm.
of people don't even have a plan. My four sons are alive because we had a plan. Now, here's the truth about that. I was a homeschool mom at the time.
Hmm.
I had to come up with field trips for my children. One of them was to the Fire Safety Museum down in Midtown in Houston. That was a quote unquote fun thing to do. We're going to go to the Fire Museum. We're going to create a plan. Well, we didn't know we would have to use that plan. And that saved their lives, like literally. They knew to grab their autistic brother, get to a point, and wait for their dad at that point to get them out of that fire.
Hmm.
Just totally amazing. So have a plan, practice the plan. Make sure you have working smoke detectors. Sprinkler your home. If businesses sprinkle their businesses to protect their products, how much more your precious life? I wouldn't even be having this conversation had I known about fire sprinklers for home. That's
Hmm.
another thing. And also make sure that you're just aware that everyone knows what to do.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't think that a lot of people know about fire sprinklers in the home. I mean, you think about the homes you've been in, you don't even really see them. Is that something that you have to do as you're building the home, or can that go up into a house that's already been built?
You can get what's called a retrofit. Yes, you can get them installed afterwards. It's
Mhm.
probably cheaper if you do it while
From
you're
the
building your
get-go.
home, but
Right.
yes, you can
Well,
get them installed.
yeah, just something for people to be aware of and think
Yes,
about. And then, I mean, just down to simple things of changing the batteries, right? In every one of your fire alarms.
exactly. That's what happened with me. I'm a cook. I love to cook. I'm Chef Justina at home. And my fire alarm was going off all the time, especially with young boys. And I'm like, this
Mhm.
is annoying me. And I took the batteries out. So I didn't get that first alarm that I should have gotten. So extremely important. You
Yeah.
have to
And
do it only twice a year.
well,
Just
let's
do
talk.
it.
Oh yeah, for sure. What you're trying to do now is fundraise to make sure that you can get out your message and then it can get to even more people. How can we as a community help you with that?
Well, we have an upcoming event that I would love to invite everyone to. It's the Amos House of Faith annual fundraising gala. And we are have a specific target for this particular gala. We want to start and build what's called Amos Place. That's a place for the
Mm,
caretakers of severely burnt patients to stay at, much like the Ronald McDonald House, but
mhm,
on a smaller scale. We don't need
mhm.
all the room like McDonald House. I used to volunteer for the Ronald McDonald House, and it was huge, a lot of rooms. We don't even need that. We need maybe a 5-bedroom house, just so that what people don't understand about burns is that burn units are spread far and few in between. So most burn patients are life flighted in. Families are coming in to the medical center, usually with no money, having to pay parking every day, not able to stay on the unit because of HIPAA regulations. They need a place to stay, they need community, they need food, they need parking. And we want to create a place to alleviate some of those basic necessities so that they could concentrate
Mhm.
on, if a patient is life flighted in, chances are they got in the first 3 days whether they'll make it or not. And while they're in that detrimental point in life, we want
Mm.
to be there to assist them and have community where they can feel inspired, rested, and have their basic needs taken care of to relieve some of the stress.
That is such a blessing to be able to try to offer that. I mean, it's just incredible. You think about it, we have the Hope Lodge for cancer patients. I know that there's lodging for people who come in who get a type of transplant, but nothing for these burn patients. Now,
Yeah,
it
it's for
sounds like
everybody but them.
you've got a lot of money to raise, though. What is your goal again?
My goal is about 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
1 million would do it. That will
Yeah.
get us up, and then we'll run to an operation budget. But
Mm-hmm.
1 million would do it.
Wow.
Again, we're not looking for this fancy building with
Right.
all these rooms because, first of all, it's not necessary. It's a
Mm-hmm.
14-bed unit.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, the patients and the ones we're talking about is normally not going to be no more than 5 very critical. Now,
Mm-hmm.
it can happen to be more if you have like a big explosion at
Mm-hmm.
one of these factories or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
normally, it's going to run between 3 to 5 very critical
Mm-hmm.
patients. So, yeah,
For people who want to know even more about everything that you've been through and what hope you have to deliver to others, tell us about your book.
absolutely. My my book has been winning awards since it's been written.
Well,
And that's nobody but
congratulations, and you
God. I have to
deserve
give the
it.
glory and honor to God. For some reason, people are really drawn to this particular book. It's called The Circle of Fire. And
Mhm.
you can get it at thecircleoffire.org. I was blown away. I just recently won award out in Tennessee called the Red Letter Awards, and it's for Christian creatives. And I was one of the authors chosen for. So I was really, it's really funny, Melissa, because I'm like all these great authors, and I said I know what I'm gonna do. I can't buy everybody's book, but whoever wins, I'm gonna buy their book. And then they called my name, and my friend, I was so shocked. My friend, like, you got to go up on
Oh
stage.
my goodness.
But
Wow.
no, I think the authenticity, I tell the real truth about what I've been through, my faith, how things work. I just was real honest. And I think
Mhm.
the honesty really helps people on a deep, deep level.
Tell me about this photo.
I'm sorry.
Tell me about this photo that we're looking at. Can you see it?
Oh, that's my brown sugar, James Page. That's he and I. That's our, if you can see the ABC, that's our
Uh-huh.
After Burns Club.
Uh-huh.
And that's when we go down to Galveston and we work with the children who have the very severe burns and their parents. It's a very precious ministry that we have down there.
Mhm.
It makes me feel good every time because the children are so inspired and the
Yeah.
parents are inspired. And we just take a topic, let's say teasing, and we discuss teasing, and we'll do a physical activity to get them moving. Then we'll do a craft activity to let them work their limbs and stuff. And we'll talk about that topic and answer questions. And it's really, really nice. I love it.
It sounds powerful and just to get their mind off of everything, right? And just to feel like somebody
Exactly.
gets them and what they're going through. Okay, so we're gonna show up at your gala, but for people who can't, then how do we help you?
Well, you could go to the amoshouse.org if you're
Okay.
willing to donate monetarily. You could donate there. We appreciate that.
Can be a
If
tax
you want to do
write-off.
other ways, you could donate all kind of ways.
Mhm.
Zelle at my
Mhm.
number 832-816-5728. Venmo the same. Cash
Mhm.
App the Amos House of Faith. PayPal at the Amos House. So
Well, I can't wait, and I hope that you'll give me the exclusive interview when you break ground and we put the shovel into the ground to start building this place because it's going to happen. When do you see it coming to life?
I'm
Can you
hoping we're
visualize it?
looking at 2026.
Okay. Okay,
So
that's a good goal right there.
yeah, we're just believing God that it will happen like that. And if it's sooner, you'll be one of the first persons, I promise you. And you have that exclusive interview.
Well, it's been so neat to watch you evolve through all of this. I moved to Houston the year after your fire, and I remember reporting about you in the very beginning, almost 25 years ago. It's crazy to think
Yeah.
about, and to see how far you've come. And now, if anybody watches, especially if they stream, they'll see you in a lot of local films. You're quite the little movie star too. And so I've loved featuring you in that as well. Any that you want to make sure we watch?
Well, I tell you what, it's just a pleasure to be here, Melissa.
Yeah. Well, we are so proud of you. You keep up the good work. You keep spreading that good message, and we will be cheering you on every step of the way.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. Keep up the good work. And I just want to remind you all, if you want to join me for Lunch for the Soul, it happens here every Wednesday. If you happen to join us late today, this is the easy thing to do. You can either go to our website, which is fox26houston.com. You can also just hop on YouTube and go to our Fox 26 page, and you can find all my Lunch for the Souls. You can even watch this one from the beginning again. You can share it with your friends and family. And then if you want to be featured on Lunch for the Soul, that's easy as well. I usually meet a lot of people out and about in the community, and like Justina, that's how I got to interview her. But you can always email me at melissa.wilson@fox.com. I will be happy to get back to you, and hopefully we can get you on the schedule. I love having you here. I hope you're having a great start to the new year, and I hope to see you back here same time, same place. You know when it is, Wednesdays at 12:30. All right, we'll see you next time.